lot of marketing and advertising is me, me, me. We're sick of that. My mindset shift just because I do know more.
What is the most challenging thing when a client comes to you?
It's hard to read the label on the outside of the jar when you're in it. Clients don't see the label. With branding, I'm guiding them through this process of understanding their business, their brand, their packages.
People are looking for authentic people.
So speaking to them authentically, making them feel heard and connected. And if we can do that, we're gonna.
Welcome to the show, Rhiannon.
Thank you, Curtis. That was a great intro. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, last we spoke a couple of days ago. I'm saying a couple of days ago. I'm from Mississippi, so time is not a factor. Sometimes a couple of days for me could be 3 or 4 months. But a couple of days ago we spoke, and I was just really impressed with what you're doing and how you do it and who you are. And how did you get, how did you get to be where you are? Kind of, we want to really share that with the audience. So if you don't mind, kind of share with the audience a little bit about your journey and how did you get here?
Yeah, amazing. So I'm also from the South. I'm from Texas. Not the deep South, but it's still the South.
Well, I'm deep.
Yeah, exactly. So I love making that argument. I'm like, it's still the South. So I'm from Texas originally and graduated from Texas A&M 2003. And I was like, New York or LA, get me out of Texas. I am a big city girl. Like, that's what I want to do. So I moved to LA first and I stumbled upon advertising. I got my first job at a big ad agency called Deutsch. There was a TV show of Donnie Deutsch back in the day. And that was my first job in advertising. I worked on automotive. I worked on like fast food chains, and I just really got the feel for advertising, and it is a high stress, high energy career. It's like definitely sink or swim. There's no BSing around. You are in it, or you don't make it. And that it sort of fueled my inner like early day entrepreneur that I didn't really know was in there. So I started out, that was 2003, and I sort of also fell into digital marketing. It was a newer thing. We had the .com crash. A lot of people were very hesitant about digital, spending money in digital. What is an ad banner? What is a click-through rate? Like, yeah. I'm back of those old school days. I don't look it, thankfully. But
you don't.
Yeah, I grew up in that era of buying media and planning media for big ad companies. I worked in LA for about 5 years. I moved to New York. I lived in New York for a while. I also worked on Detroit Auto out of New York. It was a weird time. I don't know why they put New York people on Detroit Auto. That just doesn't mix either. But it was a great opportunity for me. And then ended up coming back to LA. I love Southern California. I love the sunshine here. It just was calling me back. So I came back to LA in around 2012, and then I did ad sales. I wanted to try my hand at sales, this sort of idea that you're in control of your own destiny, and if you work hard, you get the reward out of it. And again, that sort of inner entrepreneurial blood in me just like had this calling to go into ad sales. I rocked that for about 7 years. I did a couple different jobs, sold publishers, sold technology. I'm a hustler, so I was definitely doing well. I did pretty well in that, but what was still calling me back was strategy and using my brain in helping marketing and helping with clients. And so I went back more to consulting, worked freelance with several different types of industries. I kind of got in more to gaming for a bit, so I worked on some gaming clients and got into understanding about Twitch and what does it mean to like this whole full gaming mindset. I do this because I always think of putting a hat on, thinking about an audience and who I'm targeting and what. For 20 years, I've worked in corporate, so this is all through various corporate jobs. I've always done this as like I'm putting my hat on of my audience. Who am I talking to? And if I put that hat on, like, what do they think about? What are their fears, frustrations, needs, and wants? Like, what do they care about? And when I put that hat on, it's like I can kind of just think like them. So it's a very like physical but symbolic representation of thinking about audience. So that strategic ability that I had in me, I did consulting for about five more years. And just in the last, I don't know, couple years, a couple, major things happened. We all had the pandemic,
Right.
and I call that the great reevaluation. I think every single one of us has a pandemic story and
Yeah.
something that we pivoted or reevaluated or changed in our lives. And so one big one for me was I had a baby during the pandemic. So that was quite an ordeal to be a first
That's
time
what
mom
I would say.
during the pandemic. And then the other big thing is I decided to go into business for myself and making this full investment in myself in this career path.
Bespoke Human Potential Coaching sponsors this show. Bespoke helps CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs get rid of those blind spots that they've been carrying around since childhood. So if you're stuck and have some blocks, click the link below for your clarity call or scan the QR code if you're on video. Let's get rid of those blinds. Now back to the interview.
And you want to talk about mindset work. I think this was what we really got into was the change of mindset from
Right.
career, corporate to entrepreneur. Wow, those are just, you can have some entrepreneurial things in your career that you're going after in corporate, but making that full shift to owning your own business, running your own business it's
It's a totally different animal. I mean, totally different. But before you get there too, we're going to talk about that. You talked a little bit about being stuck first, right? Did you feel like being stuck, or that's when the pandemic, you kind of realized you were stuck, or in between? When did the stuck feeling kind of hit you?
Yeah, so I also will say that I tested the waters in entrepreneurial business. So I started an Airbnb business. I would say it was 10-ish years ago, and that was my side hustle.
Right.
Which if you're gonna do a side hustle, that's a hard side hustle, by the way. Just for anyone out there that's thinking of a side hustle, running an Airbnb business is not easy. So but that was my side hustle and my switch in that. So I think your question was the stuck feeling.
Right.
And so for me, it was I kind of knew a taste of entrepreneurial life, and I knew a taste of more of being in control of my own destiny, where I felt in corporate that the goalpost was always being moved. It didn't matter if I crushed my goals for the quarter. The next quarter, for some reason, they just decided to change my goals. And it's I have an annual goal, but now you're just changing my goals. So the goalpost was always moving out of my control. I move my own goalpost all the time, but I know that I'm doing it and it's my goalpost. But when it's outside of my control, it felt unstable. The other thing I felt stuck about was I was a new mom. And so I wanted to have that flexibility to pick my kid up from school if I needed to, or take him to the pediatrician if I need to, and feeling like I have to be in office and I have to be beholden to the old type of corporate world. I couldn't let go of the freedom that I was starting to feel. So that was another big change for me. But the ultimate stuck feeling was feeling like this onset of what we're seeing now is called the white collar recession. And we're seeing a mass amount of jobs over the last several years. We had a big uptick during the pandemic. And then since then, it's just been a steady rounds of constant fear, constant layoffs, constant things like that. And so I think that ultimate fear was the impetus and the final push that I needed to go, Rhiannon, you need to figure out how to do this on your own, because the second you can figure it out, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my day, and I went home and told my parents I'm quitting my job. They're are you crazy? And I remember my first job, Rhiannon, is I utterly failed. I mean, the first 6 months, I thought I had all read all the books and felt like I knew what I was doing and got out there. And then I'm telling you, well, what a hard fall, but a big lesson I learned during that time. Now, did you ever experience anything like that during this transition for yourself?
Oh, definitely. I mean, time and again, I think that even just luckily I had tested the waters a bit through my side hustle of running Airbnbs. So I learned a bit through that struggle. I mean, I learned about setting up an S Corp. I learned about doing a P&L. like, what is a balance sheet? Like, like, it's all brand new stuff, right? It seems like it seems like table stakes. Like, oh, okay, like, of course, you set up your business and you have a business account and you have your EIN and you like do all these things. And then I talk to so many people and they're like, okay, so I have to do what? And I'm like,
Yeah.
right, foundation,
Right.
right? So fail is first attempt in learning. And
Ah.
so that's our first attempt. And so everything that I did through that business was like learning a ton. So by the time I got to this version, I'd already failed a lot.
Yeah. Bespoke Human Potential Coaching sponsors this show. Bespoke helps CEOs, founders, and entrepreneurs get rid of those blind spots that they've been carrying around since childhood. So if you're stuck and have some blocks, click the link below for your clarity call or scan the QR code if you're on video. Let's get rid of those blinds. Now back to the interview.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I love that acronym. You said learning is first attempt, fail is first attempt in learning, meaning like, and that's one of the things everybody needs to understand. In order for you to even get on the playing field, you're going to have to test it. You're going to have to do it. And more than likely, you're going to fail. And what I've learned now is that most of the time, if you have instant success and not really went through the failures and know how to do it, you miss some learnings. And so when that time does come, you be like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Yes.
I know I've experienced that before. Like you start something, you get instant success, and you're like, wow, this is easy. And then the next client comes is not as easy as the first client, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I don't know.
Exactly. And I think there's a portion too on early stages. So a couple things when people like ask me for advice, the one first and foremost is try to do it as a side hustle first. Try to keep your day job and test the waters with something that's yours, that you own, that you're trying. So that would be like my first thing, right? And then the next one is like, as you're going through it, like, I'm sorry, I sort of lost my train of thought, but it was like doing the thing and then practicing it over and over. And then knowing that, yes, this is gonna, like, when is the downfall? And so as a business owner, there's gonna be slow times and there's gonna be fast times. And that, in this new business, that's been one of my hardest that I've had to overcome. I would say the two things I've had to overcome in this version of my business is one, that a lot of mindset stuff, being this isn't a side hustle, this is a full thing, right? So that full change from no corporate to fully on my own, that was a big mindset shift.
Right.
And like the ebbs and flows of business. And so just because there's a downturn in a quarter or 2 quarters doesn't mean you're not going to have a strong Q3, Q4 or what have you, right? Like it's an annual thinking, it's not a quarterly thinking. And that was a big mindset shift for me.
Yeah, like you said before, one of the challenges that with this mindset is going from corporate then to entrepreneurship. It's a totally different animal. I mean, even though you think even though you says, well, most of my pay is commissions and I get a base. Well, once you become an entrepreneur, you don't have that base, and that's totally different. The pressure is totally different. Your mindset is totally different. Did you experience that too? I mean, you were talking a little bit.
Yes. I think I heard it best called, it's called the Dunning-Kruger effect. The effect that was my biggest thing. And what that's supposed to be is that when we're early in our career, we're very like gung-ho ambitious. We know all the answers. We know everything, and we're super like go, go, go. I mean, that was definitely me in the ad agency world. Like, Miss, come in. I have ideas. And it was great. And I'm so proud that I did that. Like, yes. But as we get older, we also have failed a lot. So we've made a lot of mistakes and we've learned a lot. So we actually know a lot more, obviously, because we've been doing it for so long. But we start to second guess ourselves. And we start to think like, maybe that's not the right answer. Maybe, I don't know. Because we've tripped and fallen so many times, we're way more cautious. And that's not a bad thing. It's just understanding that. Like, oh, that's my mindset shift, is just because I do know more. and I am more cautious, it doesn't mean I don't know something. And that was a big...
Well, and that's the whole idea is you talk about not knowing. And this is the thing about when I'm coaching individuals is that's when I think in Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the fact that you got to be willing to really go all in, meaning like, okay, I'm willing to stretch a match and burn the bridge, knowing there's no return,
Right.
understanding that, yeah, I'm going to have this sense of trepidation. I'm going to have this sense of feeling like I have a little fear, which is normal.
Yeah.
This is a normal feeling. This
Yeah.
is not like something that's abnormal. This is what we all go through.
Right.
The difference between the people who win and the difference between the people who lose is the people who don't push through it when time comes.
Yes. Yes. I completely identify with that. And I think that also one of the things that I've been able to do is help clients to ask some of those questions as well. So while you're doing it, from a mindset, right, like approach, I think we were joking. One of my jokes is always like, everyone needs a therapist and a coach. Like that's just, you just need both. And like that's just the way it should be. So as a coach, like you're helping mindset moving, right? With me, with branding, I'm asking these like core business questions, and people are like, but that's my business. How does that have to do with this? Like, how does that have to do with what I say? How does this? And I'm like, trust the process. And so I have a whole series of questions that I go through upfront with every single client. I call it my vitality plan, and I walk through with clients and I ask them a bunch of questions that they think don't really go together.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, in the end, it's like it all crafts. And so from that perspective, it's similar, where it's like I'm guiding them through this process of understanding their business, then to understand their brand, and then their packages. And then like it just sort of grows from there, where they can go, oh, okay, now I know how to talk about myself. Now I know how to position myself. Now I know how to sell my packages. And now I know what I'm supposed to sell first, second, and third. And then they're like, okay, like, great. Like I'm giving them the tools in the toolbox, and I'm saying, here you go. Now you can go sell it. And it's a great transformation to help watch clients go through that.
So what do you think is the most challenging thing when a client comes to you? If I'm coming to you, says, okay, here's my program, here's my transformation program. What would be probably the most difficult thing I'll have to do or have to kind of experience going through this process?
Yeah. Well, so one of the sayings that I love that I've heard before is it's hard to read the label on the outside of the jar when you're in it.
I love it. Yeah.
And that is even true for me as a marketer. This has been a very difficult process for me to read the label on the outside of my own jar, and I'm a marketer. Now I can look and I can see it because that's like what I know and what I do. But for clients, they can't see it. They don't see the label. I see it in an instant, and I kind of guide the process, and I'm just like, just hold their hand, like, trust me, like, let's do this step. Okay, trust me, let's do this step. Okay, trust me, let's do this step. So I think that's probably the hardest, is because people don't see what I see. It's kind of like a home show. You watch the home show, and the people who are on the, like, come and they show them the house. Hometown is a good example. And they're like, and then we're going to tear out this wall, and then we're going to do this over here, and then we're going to like completely redo this. And these people are like, in this house? Like, you're crazy, right? I'm like that for brands. And it's a whole like journey. But at the end, people are like, that's it. And so I try to say, I help you see yourself the way you should see yourself.
Right. Well, one of the challenges that I had personally, and I just went through this, I mean, literally, I'm going through it as we speak, is that I kind of came to a realization I didn't even know what I didn't know. So what happened was, like, I work out all the time anyway. I've been doing, for the last 3 or 4 years, we started doing 5,000, 100, 200. Now we're up to 10,000 steps every day. Me and my wife, but we do 10,000 steps a day. And I work out 3 days a week, but my body was okay. It's like for a 60-year-old young man, I look pretty decent. But then I met up with a gentleman who were on the podcast, and he worked with executives like me that I realized I didn't know something that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've been doing the activities that I thought that was moving me forward,
Right.
it was actually not really, I was not getting the best out of it.
Right.
Because I needed those outside eyes.
Yes.
I needed that expert like you to kind of look at the situation and says, wow, Curtis, this is what you need. And sometimes it's just a couple of small tweaks that people have to do, but they need a person like you to kind of see that. And that's kind of what you were sharing with us.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's true of so many, types of coaches. And it's interesting to me because I don't think of myself as a coach, but I'm sort of like that. Like I'm sort of like a coach. Like I'm just like, come on, let me show you. Let's go over here. Like do these reps, do these things.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, and that's kind of what I experience as as a transformational coach is that I see. Number one, I see everyone. I think you probably too. You see the end result before they see the end result. You see, for me, I see that the client has all the resources within them to become the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
So when they come to me, regardless of what they're coming to me with, I see what kind of God has created them to be.
Yes.
And I think, is that your vision as far as branding is concerned?
Exactly. Yeah. And so I would say a couple examples I have is like this law firm came to me and there were 4 guys and it was four partners, Mueller, Ivy, Newburn, Knight. And so they called themselves Mink Law. So if you're in Denver or if you're in Colorado and you need a lawyer, go to Mink. They are they wanted to brand themselves as like general counsel, like come to us as your first call because each one was an individual specialist. And so not only did I help craft their messaging and their website, but I flew to Denver. I helped style them, photograph them, create their entire photo shoot, like brand them so that when we created the website and we created their social media and we created everything that goes around the brand, you're like, oh, that's Ryan. That's who, when I called, that's what, that's Ryan. Oh, that's what Ben, that's what he sounds like. That's what he does. Like we did an about us video where I just had them all, sitting at a table looking casual. Like they're very cool dudes. Like they live in Denver, right? Like they're laid back, but they're lawyers. So they have like a nice shirt on, button down, but like I'm asking them questions about what's the meaning of integrity to them. Like that's what you want to know out of your lawyer. Okay, what does integrity mean to you? And like that in and of itself, that was a whole social cut downs of what each person said about integrity. That became the About Us video about what they think about integrity. I mean, I had a series of questions, but like that one word means a lot to people when they're looking for a lawyer. They want somebody with integrity. So it's like taking those little pieces and then presenting that and showing them on their website, like, look, this is what you guys look like this is what you stand for, this is what you believe. And it was like, Ryan goes, man, you made us look good, you made us look like professionals. I was like, thanks, Ryan, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, so what you're saying, but think about it though. I think what I got from that, what you just shared, is that people are looking for authentic people.
Right.
I mean, and that's what you kind of display, that these guys are authentic to who they are.
Yes.
By them sitting on the table, by them now being able to communicate with the audience how they actually define this label of integrity, was that showed them their true selves. And I think that, to me, that was what I got a lot from that. Exactly.
And that is what, if you put your audience hat on, okay?
I see you put your
Yep. And we are looking for a lawyer and we're searching online. We want authenticity.
Right.
Either we want to be able to look at somebody's website, look at somebody's social media and go, oh, that's my person. They are speaking to me. And so I think a lot of marketing and advertising is like a lot of people going, hey, look at me. Hey, look what I can do. Hey, look at me, right? And we're sick of that. As a society, we're over it, right?
Yeah.
We are a bit more self-centered and we want to be talked to.
Yeah.
So where we go, oh, they're talking to me. That's me. That's what I want to buy. That's the person that I want. So we're speaking to them authentically, our potential clients, and we're making them feel heard and connected. And if we can do that through a website, through social media, through, our marketing tactics, we're going to get the clients that get us.
Yes.
Right there. And that.
And I think that's what Simon Sinek was communicating, is that you're looking for people who are looking for you.
Right.
And that's the power of why you do what you do. Right. Is I'm not looking for everybody, because everybody probably don't want or need what I have to offer.
Yes.
But I want to present it in a way that when I'm talking with them, they sense it and they feel it and they say, wow, they are talking to me with this authentic voice and this authentic way of being. I think, wow. And you help people do that. I mean, that's what I was saying. It's like, I'm upset with you. You know why? Because we were not together 3 years ago.
Right. I wasn't visible enough. My own downside. Like, I have learned. Yeah. I got to be more visible. That's right.
That's it. I mean, that's so interesting. Now, one last question is this. Now, you have a baby and you have this business that you're starting. How do you actually balance that?
It's hard. I definitely feel like there's the old adage, like, you can have it all, she can have it all, like, moms do the work and the thing and this. It's not. Like, I think we're all learning as a society, it's not like that. Like, if you're focusing your attention here, something's gonna fall. You're spinning plates.
Right.
And so if you're spinning plates and you're focusing on one, like, something's gonna fall. It just is. So it's a matter of mindset.
Yeah.
And understanding, if I focus over here, this is going to go down. If I focus over here, so I got to keep it up a little bit, but also understand this isn't going to, my job and my career and what I'm doing with the hope and the intention, not with the hope, with the intention.
Yeah, I like that better.
It's a focused time, like the mental focus and clarity of the time that I give this job is during times when my son is in school.
Yeah.
And so that to me is my balance. And those are my guardrails and my side. Now, granted, I have a very supportive partner and husband that takes it too. And so we just have to balance. Some days I have work events. Some days I have night things. Some days I have this and he's got to take it. And so we just have to find that balance. There's no true have it all, do it all perfectly. Like, I think we now all know as a society, like, that's not true. There's messy parts and then there's great parts, right? Yeah. So I think as a mom and in this shift, this mindset shift that I made, it has been a challenge to, like, understand that there is going to be some give up on the career, which was really hard for me. Yeah, that was a rough one.
That was a hard one.
Yeah, I have to, like, pet myself. Okay, this is gonna go down a little bit, because I'm gonna focus on this little human, right? And so that balance is mindset shift. It's work. It's a decision, and it's a decision I didn't take lightly. I didn't just go into it. Like, I waited to have a baby till I was 39. I'm 43 now, so, like, I was able to financially, physically, all these things, be able to do this and make this decision. So, yeah.
It's interesting. One of the podcasters, he shared one term with me, and it kind of stuck with me. He called it work-life integration.
Yes.
Meaning, like, being able to integrate your life, because it's not, your life is your life, which includes your entrepreneurship, which includes your company, all these things, and your family. Yes. So now how can you integrate that so that you don't always feel like there's a lot of place in the air? I think you said before, you said, these are my guardrails, right? And every once in a while, we're going to go outside of that because, when I was growing up with my kids, it's like, hey, being an entrepreneur, I can leave when I want to leave, so I can make sure I'm there when they need for me to be there. Yeah. At the same time, every once in a while, something comes up that I can't kind of control, but that's normal.
Right.
But you said it really well, that you still have things in place so that you still can be 100% there with your child when he's there, and 100% there when you're working, which is the most, I think, the best way to actually even look at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So how can they get in touch with you? You know, how can they actually reach out to you and your company?
Yeah, fantastic. So my website is Revive Marketing, and it's spelled Rhivive, Revive. And that's a play on my name because my name is Rhiannon with the RHI. It's actually a song by a band called Fleetwood Mac. Came out in the 80s. I'm an 80s baby. And it's also a version of Rihanna, the singer. So, yeah.
Right.
So RHI Revive Marketing is my website, and you can find me on Instagram as Rhiannon Revives Your Biz. It's a bit long, but you start typing Rhiannon and like it'll come up. And then LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also a great place to find me. We're all entrepreneurs. We're all probably corporate minded. Your followers, so please follow me on LinkedIn, and that's Rhiannon Franz. Yeah.
There you go. So what last thing you'd like to share with the audience, Rhiannon?
I think just to like take away the concept that it's hard to read the label on the outside of the jar when you're in it.
I love that.
And like, don't get super frustrated with it. Like I'm a marketer and I have a hard time doing it for myself. This is a very difficult thing to do. But let me tell you, once you have that label, it's like you can go sell it. You can go sell ice to an Eskimo, right? You can go, you can do it once you have that and you understand what your package is, your pricing, and all those things. So just don't be too hard on yourself on that. And yeah.
I mean, I love that analogy. You can't read the label inside the jar, and that's so true. Even when I'm having challenges personally, it's hard for me to. It's like think about it. A heart surgeon does not perform surgery on himself. It'll be difficult for him to do that.
Right.
Okay. Do I put myself to sleep now? Do I make the incision?
Right.
That's why you get people like Rhiannon to do what she does. She's an expert in what she does, guys. And that's what I'm so happy to have her on the show. So Rhiannon, thank you so much for sharing with the audience today those little nuggets. And especially I love that you can't read the label inside the jar. I'm going to use that a lot. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We also like to thank everyone for stopping and listening today to the show. You know, I'm telling you, what we do and how we do it is all about you and what you bring to the table. Always remember, guys, remember the legit mindset. Success comes when you learn, grow, expand, and transform. That is the legit mindset. Once again, my name is Curtis Mccullom, and make it a great day. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and be a part of our following here on the channel.